And we're live. It's Whiskey Watches the Wheels. I am the one and only Matt Green. And with my buddies over here, we're going to do our best to entertain you for the next hour or so. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
Jason.
I'm James.
I'm Kevin.
And like I said, I am Matt. Got some various topics tonight to talk about. But so for those listening, we have a little group chat and we talk every single day. You know, some days more than others, but we're always throwing stuff at each other and talking about stuff. And James hit us out of the clear blue earlier this week with something that we had no idea was even in the works, no idea that he was looking, no idea about anything. So with that out of the way, James, what'd you get, buddy?
I inadvertently purchased a 997 GT3.
Inadvertently, like it was an accident. Like I was up drunk one night and I stumbled across an ad and just decided to buy a GT3. So
well, something along those lines.
It's a 997.1. I'm assuming,
yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah,
yep.
997.1. So this was originally a Canadian car imported into Arizona, 23,000 miles. Kevin and I have a mutual friend. I was trying to buy his rare color GT3 and we couldn't see eye to eye on that.
What color was that rare color?
It was a metallic blue.
Okay.
Sapphire metallic blue, I think it is.
Okay.
So they made something like 23 of them. So this is a white 997 GT3, which out of the
color.
Yeah. So the most popular color, which I think they made 449 of. So it's got all the bits, which is really cool. And I was really not in the market. So, but once I couldn't get together on the number with the other car, I had done all the research and then this thing popped up and it was just like, wow, everything that I should be looking for, this car has. So as I said, 23,000 miles, Olin road and track suspension, Manti Racing brake line kit, RS clutch and flywheel, guard differential internals, Sharkworks exhaust.
Nice.
So it also has the pinned coolant lines. So
cool.
All that fun stuff. Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires. Lots of stuff done to it. The previous owner owned a Porsche shop. And he maintained the car with the previous 2 owners. So
sweet.
Out of the 4 owners, this guy was maintaining.
Meaning he saw it just over once a year for the oil change.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But there was a fair bit done on it. And it was just kind of hard to pass up at that point as far as based on what I was looking at with this other car compared to this car. So I kind of had to do it. So I did.
There you go.
And that's where we're at. And word travels fast. But, no, I wasn't being very open about it. I was kind of on the down low looking. So I didn't want to get anybody else excited. I didn't know if it was going to happen or not. And, it did. And when it did happen, I did let you guys know. So there you go.
You let us know when the trailer was pulling up to your place. Not even. It's not like, hey, I bought this.
Yeah. So I had it delivered to SondaWorks just because it's a place of business and they're there, and how I know all of you guys know how dealing with delivery from car transportation. Oh, yeah. The joys of, hey, it'll be here at an X date. And then, no, it's not there. It's the next day or it's previous or, hey, it's 11 p.m. at night and I'm in your driveway.
Or 6 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to avoid that at all costs. And it was great. It came from Arizona in an enclosed trailer and it was just a single level.
Was it always a Southwest car? Where else has it been?
Canada.
Oh, okay.
Vancouver.
Okay.
So all West Coast. So kind of the same thing, California, dry, all of that stuff. So
good.
So it's here and I've driven it from SondaWorks back home.
Okay. So I that's all right. Driving impressions. What is your thought process as far as I'm excited. Kevin's laughing at me. I have all these
No,
questions.
I figured he'd be like, yeah, I got on it.
Right.
It
Well,
fucking hit 8,500 and like,
you
so
guys
what do
know
you think?
we have to pull this out of him. We have to pull it out.
I know.
Like
So
taffy. It's like
I
saltwater taffy. You got to get
Yeah.
it out.
Warm it up.
out. Yeah.
No, I drove it home. I had a nice little rip on the highway. I didn't have any back road opportunities really. And then I did have to go back to the office to grab the Macan. So did that and drove back. And, it sounds fantastic with the Shark Works. I did rev it out and it screams. Coming from the 991 Carrera S to the 997.1, smaller cabin, lighter car. Right now it feels pointy for me just because of the weight difference, I would guess. I think that the 991, because it's a bigger, heavier car, it just feels more planted at the moment because I'm not used to it. So I can't really give you my full review.
And you're also thinking the 991 is a cushier car, so you're gonna feel that difference immediately too.
Yeah, so the suspension is way tighter, obviously, on the GT3, and the ride is harsher for sure, a bit more harsh. But it isn't anything that I don't like. You know what I mean? It's like that connection, feeling every bump. That's what we all love about the air cool. As far as no nannies, it kind of gives you that old school feel to it.
Does it have a DSC? The suspension? No. Okay.
It has the.
I'll send you the link because
the Olin, right? So it has the Olin road and track. So that the suspension.
Okay, so the PASM's off then.
Yeah. So I can adjust it, which I believe I need to adjust it. I think it's a bit too racy at the moment. But I just need this weekend to really get used to it and go from there. But as my expectations of going out and doing a bunch to it, I'm not doing that at all. So,
yeah.
So what do you bring to Amelia?
Yeah.
Not this.
No, that's too. It's a lot of driving for just this 95. So a little plug for your other cars. You're selling your 912, your old 912.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little about?
Yeah, so the California 912 is up for sale. Dave over at Sonderworks is posting it, and professional photos are being done late this week. So look for those.
Photos for what reason? You guys could have put it on Bring a Trailer or?
No, he's just going to rep it through Sonderworks.
Okay.
So if you're interested, reach out to David Sonderworks via Instagram.
Do you have a price for the listeners? Do you know? Or is it...
Yeah, it's $45,500 at the moment.
Reasonable.
So it's a great driver, solid car, 1966, 3-gauge, 1600 motor.
Interior? Didn't you do the interior?
So I did the dash. So the dash has been redone, and the seats have been re-dyed. So it's looking quite sweet. And really, what it came down to, the plan for this 912 was to hot rod it. I wanted to gut it, hot rod it, and enjoy it, right? And well, it wasn't so much the money. It was, I got this car and I just love this 410 millimeter wood steering wheel, and just the whole feel of the car. And the at the time when I got it, the lap belts it just had lap belts. It didn't have shoulder belts. It now has shoulder belts. So I put those in, but it just had a completely different feel. And I call it my golf cart. All the communities, people driving around golf carts. Well, that's how I was kind of using that 912, is ripping around town like it was a golf cart. So it was just a blast. And on some of the back roads here, I just really enjoyed it. So it's just like, I don't want to rip this car apart. And then another car came up that had, that was done. We talked about it previously, and I went and I grabbed that. So the California 912 is now for sale.
And then Are you planning on selling the 99?
I'm holding on to it for now, but I would expect in a month or so, I think that would probably
So do you intend to drive the GT3 as much as you've driven the the 991?
Which is
You-
not a lot.
I hope more.
Is it
I
not?
hope more.
I really
Yeah.
thought
More.
you were
Yeah.
out in the 991 a lot. Is that not?
So no, not at all. The 991 is once a month almost,
Oh.
just because the 912 is so much fun, right? And then I have the Macan to go to work for the daily. But
I think you drive your
SC.
SC the most out of
Mhm.
miles as.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the SC is so dialed in, ready to go, ready to rip, always ready to rip. So I typically will pull that out if there's a local event going on for, say, a coffee run and then a drive afterwards. I'll usually pull the air cooled because the majority of folks in the area are driving the air cooled.
Do you never drive them to work? Is that
I
not
do
a
when it
fun-
gets warm. No, I do when it gets warm. So, and typically when I do, I try to leave a little bit later so there's not as much traffic and I can get a little rip in before starting work. So
how many miles are on your 991?
53,000.
Okay. And you bought that new or used?
No, I bought that used. So I bought it with 32, I think it was.
If I sell the 997, maybe I can. No.
There you go. I mean,
I'm not selling my 997.
The 991 is spec'd so nicely. It's a great car.
It's a great car.
Awesome all arounder. It's got the sport design package that has the ducktail on it. And
serious question, because I don't know, because I haven't looked at 991s, but how much do you expect to sell that for?
Around 80.
Okay. All right.
So it's funny. It's funny too because you mentioned your car has 50,000 miles, right? Like a GT3 car, any GT3 car for the most part, it's very rare that you see a high mileage GT3 car. But it seems like if you have a Carrera S, 991, even a 992, people tend to drive those cars more daily than they do a GT3.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and we know, looking at the numbers, so those cars aren't special, right? Even they were made, the 991s. They're made in such large quantities.
Mm-hmm.
Even the 997s in general, both .1, .2s, were made such low volume that you can argue that even a run-of-the-mill Carrera S 991,
or a base.
I can't get my numbers correct tonight. But even a base 997.1 and .2 is a more unique car long term, just by the production numbers.
Yeah,
and I would tell you, James, too, if like on your 991, your .1, like the front end, they make that front end bumper is a hell of a lot cheaper than a 997.2 front bumper, who has to get special made. You can buy your bumper for $1,500. You have lugs instead of center locks. Some people like it. I personally like lugs.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. You can change your own tires. You can, do things like that. And it's funny that you said there's only 400 and something. Back in the day, a low production car was 1,200 for American, like a GTA, or even way back in the day, I say the 80s, when Shelby was doing some of his stuff with Lee Iacocca, 750, 500 cars. And then we have like your car that's only 400 and something. It's just crazy when you hear a low mile car or low production car, it's sub 1,000. When American cars are so much more.
Yeah. Just to clarify, the 449 are just
your color.
GT. Yeah, the white. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So
the other nice thing about our car, James and Matt, is that Matt, I don't think you have one, but the bottom spoiler, the chin spoiler.
Yes, cheap.
Oh my God! Well, I just bought a new one because I purchased the cup because I want a little more aero in the front, more downforce. But it's $130 delivered to your door off eBay.
You buy a couple of them.
Yeah, I've got another standard one like we both have on the car now. And then I've got the cup one to put on after the workout done.
Mm-hmm. Well, I learned that pretty quickly because, kudos to the GT3 community. There's a lot of crossover on the air-cooled in the GT3. So I reached out to everybody who had a 997 or a 991, just to figure out what the differences were. And, everyone was just gracious in their help, just with the information, offering their cars to drive. I mean, it just was just fantastic. And
Don't miss a shift.
everyone helping to get it over the line. So it was really good. And I
what is
appreciate
your
all the help.
991 rev to? 78?
72, 74?
Yeah, it's about the same as the standard. Yeah.
So because mine's 72 on the base 997.
And now it revs to 85?
84. Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe this year at Foreign, I'll be able to hear myself.
Doubtful.
Well, I won't hear you, but so that's cool, man. How's the steering? So does the steering in the 997 feel heavier than it does in the 991?
They're different. They're different.
Because I know my base has pretty heavy steering, and it's not even a GT3.
We're hydraulic. 991 went
to
the electric.
Yeah. Look, the 991 is such a capable car. It is fantastic. I can't.
That's the
say anything
3
bad
liter
about it.
3 liter
3.8.
3.8.
Oh, naturally aspirated.
Which, the 901?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no turbo
the
on
dot
GT3.
Oh,
one.
The dot 2 went to 3 liter. Okay.
Yeah. So
no turbo.
That's going to be a desire. Yeah, that's right. I have no turbo.
No turbo
in the 991, and that'll be a desirable car because
it will be. Yeah, no doubt
of that. So, but everyone is now going nuts with these 997 GT3s, and they're going up. So, like I said, it wasn't my intention. It just kind of happened.
There's a select few people that I know of that can say, it just happened. But
that's good.
I'm happy to know them.
Yeah, exactly right. It's a good position to be in.
Yeah.
Well,
so
anyway, I'll
cool.
give you an update next time.
Well, talking about 997 spicy cars, Casey, how's your car coming?
Spicy.
Yeah.
So I've been doing all the suspension work. I don't remember what I've talked about previous, but
neither do I.
am doing B16s.
B16, like Honda stuff. Awesome.
Isn't that what they are? They're Bilstein's B16s. All right. So then camber plates on the front, up top, lower control arms in the front, because I was not going to do that originally, but as I was changing things out, I looked at the ball joints and they were a little crusty, and I was like, man, am I going to have to come back in 5,000 or 10,000 miles and do this all over again? So I elected just to get some lower control arms. Did GT3 front sway bar, the sway bar links, of course, and then bump steer kit for the tie rods. That was all for the front. For the rear, I just did sway bar in links and new shocks and the top hats, because I'm hoping that will suffice for now. But more importantly, what made this whole process come to life was that I wanted a front lift kit, because I just rubbed the hell out of the chin spoiler. And so I've been working with a dude up in Canada. He has developed this front lift kit. He works for Bosch on snowplows in Ontario, so that seems to fit, right? And so he's developed this kit. We're working through it. I've got the first production. He's got it on his car.
Test mule.
Yep, mm-hmm. I'm car number 2. I finally tonight, super excited. It's all back together, and I tested the lift. It works. It's a little noisy. We're working out some kinks about air and stuff, and whatnot. But he's designed everything: the pump, the electronics board. He's done it all. So super cool. I think for somebody to have that skill set, it's like, the same.
So is it going over the axles, or is it going? Is it cups over the coilovers? It
is going on. It is the base on the coil on the shock. So you've got
Coilovers.
the helper spring, main spring, and then the lift, and it's hydraulic.
So, when is this going to be in production and readily available?
Soon.
And then, what kind of price range?
It's $2,500.
And is he only doing that on the 997, or has he got other stuff? Because I need one for a 993.
Yeah, this will be compatible elsewhere. The only thing that really changes is your diameter of the pump, right? Or not, excuse me, not the pump, but the actual inflation, the balloon. So once he gets, or once we kind of make sure that this is all working as he intends, it'll be just a matter of designing the bellows, to fit the different shocks and whatnot.
How did you find him? How did you guys hook up?
It was actually weird. I would have to look back at my Facebook messages, but I think I made a comment on somebody's post, and he hit me on the side, and he mentioned,
He slid into your DMs?
Yeah, he slid into my DMs. And he mentioned that he was working on something, if I'd be interested. And I was, yes, but I had this February already kind of in my calendar as the date that I was going to start my suspension build, just because the shocks I know were on their way out, and I was just going to do it. And so he was probably 6 or 7 months back. So that would have been like July-ish of last year that he contacted me. And I told him kind of February was my date, and he's worked really hard and diligently to get that done and get the product ready. And it's been, I mean, it was right on time with the date. So it's been I'm admittedly a little slow on my installs of this stuff, even though I've done like full suspension several times on different cars. It takes me a while. So I'm probably 12 hours into the total project thus far. And a lot of it has been just I don't know, it probably took me 2 hours today just to assemble the shocks in the right order, because I'm looking at the Tarot engineering webpage, where they have how to assemble their stuff on a Bilstein shock. But then I've got to talk to him. His name's Alex. Talk to Alex about, where am I incorporating your stuff? What spacers or gaskets am I using of yours versus theirs? Just back and forth, because there's no instructions. He's got a really basic set of instructions, but we're kind of figuring that out for him to be able to move forward. So
his name is Alex. He lives in Canada. He used to play guitar in a band called Rush.
I don't think so, because does he
have a friend named Neil?
He works for Bosch. But anyway, it's been a lot of fun for me because I really enjoy doing this. But it's also been, there's been some problems to solve, and on my side, not necessarily on his side, but on my side.
Well,
and I just get nervous because I've never installed an axle lift. I've never installed, Bilsteins before, V16s before. So it's been I've been a little slow, but it's exciting. I enjoy doing the work.
It's awesome. But so where was the connection with him where he identified you based on your comment that, wait, this guy could be my tester?
I think I bitched about how expensive the other axle lift kits were.
And those are in the $3,500 range?
Yeah.
So that's a big, significant savings.
It is. And I just think that that's too much. I mean, the mechanism, one of them even uses the stock that comes in the little front panel, your tire inflator. And it was still cost $3,000 plus. That to me doesn't make sense. I wouldn't have dedicated special pump to pump up my axle lift if you're going to charge me that much money. And so, like I said, he's developed his whole thing. There's 3D printing, and I think that's super cool because that's still over my head, although I want to learn that stuff. But it's cool, and I love helping like a little guy out to be able to create something that I think at the price point and the quality, because the quality has been fantastic of all the parts and pieces, using Swift springs and whatnot. I think that people will gravitate to something that costs, I think, 30% less ish, and effective. It fits in the battery compartment, so there's not like an additional pump sitting in your trunk, or your frunk rather. And so I think it's good. And he even has it to where, James, we have the solid wing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you still have the button on your dash for the hydraulic wing, or at least I do. So you should have that. So you tap in. I had to pull the pins. That's what I was asking about, the pin tool. But you pull the pin and repin that button, and so now that button is your front axle lift.
That is awesome.
I love that. Just like Kevin taught me to put the exhaust on my home link button. I think that's so fucking cool. And so there's no additional like buttons laying around. There's not like a generic
remote, key fob that you lost. It's under the seat somewhere.
Exactly. So, but it's all settable. If you want to change the parameters, we've got it to, you can raise it and then it lowers automatically. I've tapped into CAN bus at 35 miles an hour, just like OEM, just like on the 991s, 992s. So it'll drop automatically. He's willing to change that a little bit, because I asked about, if I'm driving downtown Richmond, which has shit roads, what about if I wanted 45? And he's like, well, if they're bad roads, then you're not driving that fast anyway. Like, okay, that's why you're designing this and not me. But it's nice to be able to talk to the creator, to have a back and forth. And like I said, everything has looked fantastic, and really feels like what you would be willing to spend $2,500 on.
That you're getting your value out of the actual expense.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'm a fan. And like I said, we've got a few little kinks to work out. But I expect by this weekend, that'll be ironed out. I get an alignment on Wednesday, and we'll be hopefully driving it down to Amelia on Thursday.
Oh, awesome. What's the name of the company?
Jones Works, I think, is what it's on there. It's called a Flow Lift, I think, is what he's got it stickered as. I don't know how much he's set to that or whatever. And I don't know, honestly, how he's going about or wanting to go about selling it in the future, like whether he's going to, let a distributor have it or let Kevin have it or whatever.
Right.
But, I like it. I like him. He's been super responsive and gone above and beyond on answering all my ridiculous questions. So
excellent.
Also, James, you asked how the guy found Casey. You don't know this. Casey and I are members of all the same Facebook groups, and Casey is a fucking little what do you call it? Social butterfly. He's like in every single group. Every time I'm not on Facebook a lot, but when I go in there and I go into a group, I'm like, there's Casey's post, and then you go to another group, there's Casey's post, and every single one of them.
There's so many myths to blow up on the 997 that I just have a very low threshold for just calling people stupid or ignorant over, a lot of the IMS stuff and bore scoring stuff. And I don't have any problem just calling people fools.
Oh, it's hilarious
for that. So,
yeah.
So he gets flamed a lot, is what you're saying.
No, not usually. I mean, usually he's the one, like I said, he's
you're the one, period at the end of the conversation.
That's right.
He's bursting. He's bursting little bubbles everywhere. Just
right. I'm in sales. I have no problem bursting bubbles.
There you go. Exactly. Awesome. Well, I guess I'll be joining some of those groups.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. But there's nothing there. There's like, you have a Metzger, so like that problem is solved. And then there's nothing else wrong that goes wrong with the 997. The interior is good except for the soft touch stuff, which we've known about that.
The volume buttons, blah blah blah. Oh god.
Yeah.
But other than that, like the 997 platform is phenomenal.
And maybe I'm biased, but the interior of those cars are just classic. They're just well built, and it's not, nothing against the newer stuff with all the screens and everything, but you got one screen and it's analog, everything else. And so,
well, there was a one side, I was working with some of these guys as far as getting information. They were also pointing me into a new head unit.
Get the PCCM Plus.
Yeah,
and
that's the only option
to get the Apple CarPlay and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm doing it this year. I mean, I went the other route. I got an Alpine unit and had it installed. And you buy the Alpine unit for $400, but then you got to literally spend $600, almost $700 worth of fiber
Wiring
optic
and
vids
fiber optic,
and converters and all that. And it doesn't sound that great. It works okay with the Bose system, but the Bluetooth sucks. So
I'll tell you, I did the other alternative, which is Mr. 12 volt or whatever it's called now. Yeah. I think it works great. I think the Bose system itself is not that good, so I don't think any of it sounds very good. But I'm in the 997. I don't fucking care, really. I want like some ambient noise while we're interstate cruising. But as soon as we hit like a real road, it gets really turned down, and I don't care. When I want to be a redneck in town, it'll crank up loud enough to be a redneck. Otherwise, I don't really care.
So I already told Stacy I'm getting the PCCM Plus this year. I'm taking the Alpine out and putting in the PCCM Plus.
I would like to upgrade the whole speaker system, and that'll probably be a project in a year or two.
I had multiple people point me to this one on AliExpress. I will share it with you.
I know which one it is. It's the Chinese knockoff of the PCCM Plus one. And listen, the PCCM Plus, it's not cheap. It's $1,200.
Yeah,
but it's well built and it's Porsche branded, and I know it's gonna actually work and not have issues. As much as any technology can. I mean, all technology is going to have hiccups and connections.
Kevin has said this sometimes. I think we've all said it. Like, this is a Porsche at the end of the day, and it is a 911. And James specifically, it's a 993. Put the fucking $1,300 in for the real unit.
Right.
Like $1,300 ain't going to kill you.
No, and it was designed for the car, just like it was OEM. So
I'm broke.
Well, now you probably are. You got to sell some watches. That's why I made that joke in our little group. So, you guys have any last minute prep for Amelia, or everyone ready to go? I know Casey's buttoning things up.
I'm working hard. Otherwise, I've got the alignment. I've got, I think that's really it. That's all I got. If that thing, if I get all this shit done and alignment gets done, I'll be set.
Well, Kevin, what are you bringing? Wysock?
Yeah, it's already in St. Augustine, so I'm just bringing that. I got my oil temp sensor is out. I mean, I don't have a lot of miles on the car, so I don't know if it was replaced, but I have one coming. I guess I read I don't have
They're
to pull
finicky as hell.
Yeah, I don't have to pull the draining oil. Some will dump out, but I'll put a wrench on it and put a new sensor in there because it's I drove from my house to St. Augustine, and that was actually Orlando, then St. Augustine, and that was like 4 hours of driving. I can't tell you guys, driving in traffic sucks with the stick shift. I was exhausted, especially on a 915 because it's like,
notchy as hell.
Oh yeah, and I went from fifth to like, even though there's a lockout there, I went from fifth to like fourth, and it was like, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, that can happen. That can happen for sure. So if you force it, you're going to grind it. You have to just let it neutralize and pull it in.
Yeah,
double clutch, baby, double clutch.
We're not that old.
No, I have it coming in. So, and on my red car, same thing. Like, a lot of people say if you don't drive these cars, things happen. So, like on this one, the oil level was like bouncing all over the place, and I just went back there and tightened it up, and boom, it worked. So, I've been just, I'm
cool.
Hopefully it runs in 2 weeks. So
it'll run in 2 weeks.
It's in the garage. We'll see.
Shit, I haven't driven mine in a month, but all I have to do is wash it, and y'all might not even get that. It may just show up freaking dirty. I don't care.
I bought a new pressure washer. It shows up tomorrow. What a fucking fiasco. I tried to wash the cars this past weekend. I get my pressure washer out, which it was just a Karcher cube, which has been great. I've had it 3 or 4 years, and it shit the bed. like the pedal wouldn't work, and it would only work when I like hit the reset button on the GFI like 100 times. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I ended up going on a Obsessed Garage and getting a package, and fucking hell, like this stuff's amazing. Like, I'm really happy, excited to get it, but my God, is it expensive for a fucking car?
So here's my thing. I have a gas-powered pressure washer, but I've never used it to wash the car because I'm scared to fuck. I'm afraid it's going to be too powerful.
It's too powerful.
Yeah, so that's why I've never used it.
You need like 1,000 PSI. That won't, whatever doesn't hurt
damage your paint. Right?
I know.
Whatever doesn't hurt your hand won't hurt your paint. And
fuck that.
So
I'm not buying.
You need to get like the
too.
package I got, and it was like $750.
You know what I did? So I think it might even be Armor All, to be honest with you.
No,
they make
it not.
Hold on a minute.
Unbelievable.
I'm not. I don't use fucking Armor All. No, just wait. Let me finish my damn statement.
Wrap it up here.
No, let me finish. No, but they make a foam cannon that just goes on like the garden hose. And you have your choice. You can put it on an electric pressure washer, or it's got a switch for the garden hose. And for a garden hose, it actually doesn't. It actually foams up pretty decent. It's not great, but it's good enough for what.
It's like getting a hand job. Like, it's okay. Like, it's gonna get the job done, but
I guess
it's really not what you want.
More like giving yourself a hand job with your left hand. But anyway, it serves my purpose. I'm not going to go out and buy another pressure washer when I already have a gas one.
You should. Because the gas is for the concrete and the pool or the house or whatever the hell. The nice electric is for the car.
I'm saving my pennies for my PCCM Plus $1,200 radio.
Yeah.
For the 914.
No, but I would be the guy that puts a Porsche Classic radio in the 914.
Well, Casey, you need to get that Master Blaster next so you can dry the car without touching it.
Right? I use an old electric leaf blower.
I do.
It's
I have a Milwaukee.
Too.
Yeah. No, I have a Milwaukee. Casey did. He put up in the group chat about, if you're a Milwaukee guy or you're the different battery powers. And so I have the battery powered Milwaukee blower that I use for my car.
I use an old Toro that's plug-in, and I've got
whatever works.
Use
Black
it like
Toro.
way back here, but it works.
Yep.
Whatever works.
He got the old Black Toro with the red writing on it.
Exactly right.
Yep. That's my porn name, Black Toro.
You've had so many.
I know. I have a different one every week.
Including the Reverend Black Toro.
The Reverend Black Toro. Oh, Lord. What else? What else we got? We still got like 20 minutes to burn. Kevin, you've been very quiet, buddy.
Well, I don't have a 997, so I'm just kind of listening to you guys.
Well, if it's any consolation, I really don't either. I got a base 997. It's other than looking the same as theirs, is about the only thing I have. I mean, I'm not gonna be able to go on rallies with you guys anymore because I got two GT3s, and Casey's just as good as a GT3. It's his own. I'm just forget it. Even if I wasn't the slow guy, I'd be the slow guy. Well, I am the slow guy.
CW3. Well, we can hit a few news topics. I think I find this interesting. I don't know who sent it. Let me look. I'll give you credit. James sent it on the drive, talking about the right to repair bill. I think this is important, and I'll tell you why. It's not about cars. It's about other shit like your washer and dryer.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
It's other household items, your air conditioner, that I think is important. This stuff is so expensive just to have some bonehead come out and diagnose it or whatever, because the electronics or the diagrams or whatnot are not really put on the web very much. But I think with bills like this, which I hate government and I hate their interference, but I do think that we should be able to fix our own stuff. And if companies would put this stuff out here and then provide reasonably priced
diagnostics or whatever,
or like the parts at reasonable prices, I'm more than willing to keep my GE or whatever the hell we have.
They don't want you to do that. They want you to buy a new one.
Because it's not designed to. It's designed to have a 5-year life, fail, and be replaced. But why? We can do better than that. And if they know that their part is going to be replaced by their part, it's just that I'm doing it and not Joe Blow, mechanical. Then why can't that work? That model has to work.
Well, it worked in the past.
It did work.
Yeah,
in
but
the
you
past.
got to remember, guys. Like, so you guys don't know this, but I used to repair TVs.
What the fuck have you not done, dude? I mean, you have owned every job in the world. I swear to God.
No, I haven't. So, what happened? I sold my motorcycle shop and it wasn't doing anything. And my father worked for Samsung doing TV repair, and my brother was helping my dad. So he worked for one of his old GMs. So my father used to be executive over at Circuit City back in the day. And
I love Circuit City.
he so I'll give you some brief cliff notes here. These guys were getting paid like $200 to change out, TVs and stuff, Samsung TVs, and nobody wanted to go to Sarasota because of the drive, and they had all this work, and I took they provided me a van, Chester Molester van,
Yes.
a white Savannah, and
bag of candy in the front seat.
Yeah, so I took the shelving out so I could fit the big panels.
Put in the shag carpet.
And I could fit like 4 or 5 panels and make one trip. And it was like $250 to change out these panels. And I did soldering capacitors for the power supply and a whole bunch of other things. But so this gentleman, he no longer is doing it because TVs are so damn cheap now. So, a tech trip used to be $100 plus the stuff. Now you can buy the same. And back then these were like, probably the biggest TV was like a 50-inch, and I think most.
Okay. Was this flat panel or was it the big tube?
Nope. So these were. Okay. I'm not that old, so it was a LCD TV, not a plasma. We did do a lot of some of the DLPs, which were the chips, the big, like with the little chip.
Yeah.
But most of them were LCD screens. So most of them back then, this would have been like 2009 or something like that.
Exactly
most of them were LCD. And my father had just talked to me about this gentleman. He's not doing it anymore because, it was, think about it, with gas and everything and mileage. $100, $150 for a tech trip, maybe $200 plus the panel. It's not, he had no business. So what he started going into was the washer and dryer business for the front loaders. Same situation.
Yeah.
The biggest thing there is the tumbler, and you don't really change that. And the softener, it kind of like corrodes that because it's aluminum. But everything else you can buy. I fixed mine a couple of times from YouTube and stuff like that. But all this stuff, you guys hit it on the head. It's disposable now. Other than, I would say, a refrigerator, that's $1,000. I just had a dishwasher. I think, believe it or not, it was rusting. The shelves were rusting from the powder coat. Yeah, just it's kind of, I don't know, maybe 10 years old or something. The shelf for the top shelf, the bottom one they didn't make, the top one they made, and it was $200. I'll buy a new dishwasher.
Yeah.
Right.
So
for $300.
Yeah, for $400, I bought a new dishwasher. Microwave. I told my wife when we did do appliances, I said, hey, first appliance to go out, I'll buy you all, because we had white when we bought the house. I'll buy all stainless steel. And lo and behold, the cheapest thing breaks is the freaking microwave. Same thing. Microwave, $200-$300 or $400. You're not going to replace that. Everything nowadays, it's not like, we'll look at, you guys are on hi-fi stereo stuff. That stuff was built, it was expensive, quality. You change the tube amp.
Yeah.
These days it's all circuit boards made in China, and it's very disposable. So even if you did want to repair it and you could repair it, Casey, I think the cost of the part, it's going to be astronomical, where you're going to look at, other than a refrigerator, even an oven. What other things that you have in your house that you're going to
I agree with you, and I'll say two things. One, on the washer and dryer thing, my buddy just fixed his. It was a capacitor he ordered off Amazon. It was like $20.
Yeah.
Changed the capacitor, soldered it down. It was more difficult to get the soldered board out of the machine and super glued or glued than it was to do it. But the second thing is if we're talking kind of mid tier or low tier price for these products. But say you have a Wolf stove that's $2,000. That's not as easy of a
First of all, whoever has a Wolf stove, you may have one, but whoever has those, they're not going to be repairing their shit, or a Viking or
Sub-Zero.
But what I'm
Sub-Zero.
saying is if you're paying that for the name, for whatever quality it does offer, I need to be able to fix that shit.
Well, here's the thing. Like for the washer and dryer, really your best bet is to get the most basic of basic, because you probably could fix those and they're not going to break because they don't have all of those parts or the electronics. Yeah. I bought the whole front load thing when I moved into this house, and I had the thing for 2 years and the whole motherboard went out. It's like, what the fuck?
The gasket like molded to oblivion.
But it's literally like 3 months after your warranty.
Warranty runs out.
Yeah.
Well, to Kevin's point, my mom bought it was a washer or a dryer. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was Home Depot. And she took out the warranty. She did a warranty. It was like, I don't know, $150 for 5 years. And 4.5 years down the road, the thing bit the dust. So she calls them and they're like, okay, we'll be out there on, Thursday. And they show up with a brand new dryer. And they're like, she's like, what are you doing? It's cheaper to bring in a new one than it is to try to repair it. Mm-hmm. So the warranty paid for itself because it brought her a new washer or dryer.
But the one thing I will say for Casey's point is you're spending $2,000 for an Apple computer, and I can't change the memory on it.
Yeah,
that's bullshit. And then what happens is you take a $2,000 hunk of metal and it winds up in the landfill.
Mm-hmm. So I know we're not farm radio, we're kind of more old man radio. But I think a lot of where this pressure is coming is, from my understanding from reading an article a little while back, is that John Deere, there was a big ordeal over John Deere tractors, and those things cost several $100,000 to purchase.
Millions, some of them millions.
Yeah, that's way over my head. But they were not able to fix their own stuff or even have access to parts.
And most farmers do that. I mean,
exactly right.
I come from a farm family, but my wife does. That's what they do is they fix their. Usually you have a fab shop, you have. Some sort of, torches and stuff like that, because you can't wait for a guy to come if you're
fucking harvest has to go, right? Like several
that's
days
right.
to do it, and that's it.
Yep.
It's gonna rain, and on top of that is most of the time the tech. I mean, the same thing with my CNC machines. I bought a CNC machine, Haas CNC machine. I bought it because the service center's in Tampa. Believe it or not, guys, I actually have to pay wherever that tech's at. So last time he was in Cocoa Beach, I had to pay him from Cocoa Beach travel time mileage to my shop. And I bitched and complained and said, hey, this is why I bought a Haas machine. It's because the service center's here. Why am I paying a guy he's in Miami today or he's here today? Why am I paying? Yeah, that's not my problem. And it's becoming to be a real problem with their product line. Only time will tell, but it's getting to the point where it's breaking a lot more, and it's like I might as well just buy I don't know, better.
And you're when it breaks, you're dead in the water. I'm in the same situation. In my industry, we have my warehouse. We're under an overhead crane, and that crane goes down. I'm dead in the water. I can't move product. I can't load trucks. I can't do anything. And the closest tech to Orlando for these crane systems is in Tampa. So I have to get the guy out there, and I've been at my work until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, waiting for the tech to show up to repair this thing and to get it going, so that way we can do stuff the next day.
And everybody complains that these jobs are dying. These guys are making great money fixing. Like you said, the tech, a TV repair guy, a welder, electrician. Plumber, forklift. I mean, my wife. My wife said, "Hey, the forklift guys, they were making a killing. The crane guy, the Haas technician, every heavy equipment stuff. And then you look at stuff that's old, like for instance, I'll use a old Bridgeport, which is a mill. They're real big and stuff. Those things never break. I mean, they're not enclosed and not a lot of electricity. The Haas has the coil for the Haas for the heat sink It's a stove. It's the old. Remember the old stoves with the the tinfoil?
Coil, right?
Yeah.
That's what the heat sink is. It's a freaking. And you're like,
wow.
well, okay, this is nice. I can put my cup of coffee there.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Make some toast.
Yeah,
All right, so
it's just
we've yelled at the sun. In Bourbon Country, we had so in Kentucky,
Disaster.
just like North Carolina had last year. There's been the torrential rain, and Buffalo Trace has lost part of their land there into the river.
But it's just the office, though.
Yeah, it seems like this is an article more just highlighting the
Clickbait,
fact that
right?
there's a lot of flooding in Kentucky.
Everything goes up 20%.
Yeah, probably so. But it looks like it's just a cargo container in one back office that nobody was in anyway. So
It was probably full of files.
Unimportant files. So that's, but we did, I-40 is just now back up to running, or just about back running, James?
I am not sure. I haven't seen anything, but
I think when we're Ashley and I can't remember where we were, but we saw that I think maybe March 1st, it's supposed to be back up, so maybe next week. But obviously, these sort of disasters take a long time to clean up from, especially a major interstate.
Yeah.
March 1st, 2 of the lanes are going to open.
There you go. So that's fucking awesome.
That is amazing.
But Kentucky has taken quite a hit in the last several weeks with flooding. There's been over 60 deaths. And you all probably don't remember, but several years ago, there was flooding and it kind of hit the same area. And there's stories about people who have literally just moved into their rebuilt homes that have again been flooded.
Oh man, that sucks.
And that's just tragic. So if you have a few dollars, there's some donation stuff that's been put out. I don't have them off the top right now, but
I think Google it.
Yeah, the Kentucky needs some help, but so do all these flooded areas that we kind of forget about it after a couple weeks, or you don't drive down there. But all those areas that we went to in Farron, 2 weeks after those floods, they need people to come down and spend money. So the weather's getting nice again. So go down to North Georgia, Southeast Tennessee. What would that be? Western North Carolina,
Asheville.
Yep. Yeah, hit those areas up. It's not only beautiful, but they need your money.
It's about to get really nice.
That's right.
Spring.
Absolutely. Cool.
Before we leave, I got to bring this up because it's going to send Casey into his tailspin. So Casey threw up in the group the 2026 Toyota baby Land Cruiser FJ concept.
No.
Come on, Casey, what you think about it, buddy?
This thing, I just found this thing is a piece of shit. It looks like a hamster mobile. It's got a fake fucking ladder on the side with an orange stripe. It is awful. This is nothing more than a Kia Rio that's been rebadged with a fucking Toyota label on the front.
And it's going to kill.
It kills.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's awful. It looks terrible.
After I saw it, and you see these baby Broncos freaking everywhere. Everyone's driving them. All they are is a rebadged Ford Escape. That's pretty much what it is.
It's a front wheel drive piece of shit.
Right, but they're everywhere, man. They're like printing money. They're everywhere.
This thing looks terrible. You cannot look at this thing. I don't know if anybody can throw it up. I'm not smart enough to do that right now.
There's plenty of shit cars that sell. This is going to be one of them.
I think, Matt, you said it's just a play off the Land Cruiser name, and you're 100% right.
Oh, yeah, it's a money grab.
All the poors out there are going to be like, oh, look, I got a Land Cruiser, and it's fucking awful. It's terrible.
So Land Rover's been doing this for years. I mean, you have the Defender
or whatever.
Yeah, you have the Defender, and then you have everything else. You have the Evoque and all these other different things, the Discovery, and they're just it's a money grab.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It looks awful.
Yeah.
It's got the ground.
I apologize for the yawning here. I don't know why I always yawn on this thing. It's
just like the audience.
It's okay. Yeah.
No, I think it's just because I'm sitting here and I'm very If
You're
you guys
relaxed,
saw me
dude.
at
We
work-
relax you.
Yeah, it's the
No.
first time in the day that you actually sat down and stopped. That's
Yes,
why.
exactly. So I never yawn at like anywhere, and I guess sit here and I'm like, man, I keep on yawning. I keep on
Our
yawning.
voices are ASMR for Kevin.
You know, that's Casey sent me a text. Was
Yes.
like, "Are you dead?" I'm like, "No, I'm
Yep.
not dead. I'm just."
Yep.
He's
Have
tired.
any of you guys ever used PPF? Like put PPF on anything?
So my FRS, I had the entire front bumper, half the front hood, and
No,
the
have
fender.
you done it? Like,
Have
you
I did it
personally?
myself? No.
No.
Leave it to the professionals. I'm just gonna say.
What did you try?
Oh,
What did you
uh-oh.
try?
So I got new mirrors. Well, I got old mirrors, but on my '85 Carrera, as you guys know, like the mirrors always get pitted, like from rocks, just pit
Because they're
pit.
flags.
Don't you love it?
Yeah, they're flags.
Come on,
right.
Patina,
So-
man.
No. So I actually got new mirrors, and it's funny because the mirrors on my '85, this is very if you don't have the little hole in the bottom of your flag mirror that you put a screwdriver in and you turn it and it pops off,
Mhm.
there's actually clips that go in like the door panels. It's 3 clips and the
Okay.
mirror pops right off. Okay, so we pull the plug off and all that stuff. So I got Expel.
I've done the
PPF.
Expel
Yes.
It's just a
on the
sheet,
headlights. Yeah.
Okay, so that would be great. I put it on these things, and I mean it's gonna serve its purpose. But with all the edges and the curves, I'm using a heat gun, move it in, and
Right.
I put too much soapy water on it, so I like threw one away. And
Well-
then the flag mirrors have this. I'm making little.
Was it
cuts.
cut for them? Was it cut?
No.
Pre-cut?
No.
So
He had a
so
roll.
the tip would be just to do the front of it and not roll
First
it
of
at
all,
all.
they don't make pre-cut for a 85. Expel doesn't make it, so
Okay.
you have to like
Right.
kind
But
of stretch and pull.
So on the 991, I've got my mirrors done, but they don't wrap all the way around. It's just
Right.
kind of the face. So
right.
because you can cut, it's essentially the size of a sandwich, right? So you just cut that and don't worry about the edges. That would be my suggestion.
I thought about that, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just make a. I don't know. I'll send you guys some pictures. And
I need
like
to
said,
introduce you. I'll introduce you to my friend Kevin. He can make anything. He's got all this really cool equipment, and he scans shit. You might know him. You know. So,
It sounds exactly like my experience putting this Alcantara on the center console. Like,
Yeah.
but
it's the corners, it's the edges,
It
and the
is.
round.
It's
Oh,
around this.
there's a skill set there. If you don't know it and know how to cut it, you're going to just pull your hair out.
How do you cut it to make the perfect, for it to come together on the other side? And
I'll show you how to do that.
so it really gives you an appreciation for guys like that work for like Dave and everything when they do these upholstery.
Yeah.
A buddy
That's
of mine.
fantastic.
When I had my FRS, I had another friend with one, and so he wanted to put the leather. So we bought the cat skin, or he bought the cat skin kit. And so we took the seats out. We literally took all the fabric off, put on the cat skins, the hog rings, everything. You're heating it up, you're working it. And we did a decent job at it. But man, it was like literally over the course of 3 weekends to do 2 fucking seats.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
it
And
really amazed
That's
you.
good. That's good.
Right. Yeah.
So I did the same thing on the 318 IS. I did the interior, the front seats and everything. And, with the hog rings and all that, it took time, came out really well. But when I had the interior, when Dave did the interior of the SC, so we got down to the end there. I'm like, okay, let me do the ashtray. And right to Casey's point, I was like, what? Both of us are sitting there on a Saturday. No one's in the shop. We were trying to figure this thing out. And we're like, do it. Oh, okay, that looks pretty good. And then, oh my God, that's terrible. And you just rip it apart and do it all over again. So if there's one thing I'd love to be able to do on my car, would be able to reupholster something with leather, like be the dashboard or whatever. I mean, the skill set is insane.
It is.
There's a lot of steam and slapping,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think you
Yeah.
got to be Hispanic too.
Yeah.
I
Probably
think so. But then what I learned with the Alcantara, because it's the fibers, like if you stretch it, the fibers spread. So you don't really want to stretch it. And then I've got the self adhesive backing. So then it's pulling, it's not like really, not like super strong.
Well, that's because it's not really Alcantara. It's man-made, but regular one you can pull and stretch and heat up and stuff like that.
No, I'm telling you, man, it was.
Yeah.
I mean,
all
I
the
think
tips and tricks.
I think it looks all right, like
Mm-hmm.
Matt and James are saying, and I'm pretty proud of the effort I put in there. But I showed Ashley. I said, Ashley, this is why I'm doing it, because I found one for sale and it was like $3,200. And
They're
I'm like,
ridiculous.
that's the reason
Mhm.
I'm trying to do this myself.
Yeah.
And that's why I just didn't want to ruin these mirrors. And like, I also found out too, there was a plug that was in my car. It was just laying there. And then I was like, what's this got to be for something? I don't know what it is. It's actually for the mirror, but I don't have the mirror. So I guess that, I don't know if that car didn't come with it, because I don't have anything on my dash. Like, so James, you would know, can you turn your passenger mirror? Do you have a switch to adjust your passenger mirror?
Yeah, it's the same switch. There's a switch underneath the dash. Yeah.
Okay.
Underneath the dash, you flick it and then use the other guy, and it'll change your other mirror.
Oh, so there you go.
Where is it at on the dash?
There's something new.
Who knows? What Porsche would do is the next model year keep the same shit and then just find a place to put this switch. So
I'm gonna look underneath my. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna look and be like, "Is this
Live on the air?" So while he's doing that, Casey, so I have decided, I have got to do something about my center console. It drives me freaking crazy. And we've been talking about this for a while.
Who's
And
that going here?
Oh, yeah.
It's Kevin. He laid down his earbuds.
Yep. Well, let's just talk.
Well, just pause.
Yeah, let's just pause it. I can cut this part out.
So I have that on my 85, on my 80. But I don't have it. So the only switch that I have is the sunroof. And I do know which switch you're talking about. But it's weird because the plug was just laying there. And this is a rest of the world car. So it's funny because when we're using one mirror, we're taking the guts out, and the other one, I said, well, there's nothing there anyways. The hell with it. Just put it in and I'll just move it by hand. For some reason, I cannot find. It's like there wasn't. I guess they just did it manually. But I was
that's
like,
that's when your wife comes in and you go, all right, hon, sit in that passenger seat and adjust.
I mean, it's a rally car, anyways. But I'll definitely send you pictures of. Actually, I think I can finally drive it, man. I've been doing a whole bunch of. I just completed my taillights, like lightweight taillights, getting them in and making them LED for the site and fixing that. And then I did a air dam that was on the car. I made that out of carbon fiber 3D filament.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So I need to actually drive this son of a bitch. And then I got this blue thing back here that
ready to rip apart.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So anyway, Casey, I was saying I got into something with center console, and I was on Suncoast last night, and so you can buy the brand new factory center console, but it's like $1,200.
Mm-hmm.
But I was
in
really
leather.
No, just the regular, the same soft touch, although it's newer, so it's supposed to be better. But the same soft touch, $1,200. The actual Alcantara one is only $1,400. It's only $200 more.
Okay,
but and then the leather one, forget it, it's like $5,000. But where they get you is that's just the center part. The front little part up by the shifter is another like $400, and then the little cup in the back is like another. So you're all in at like $2,200 if you want to get all three pieces. And it's like
rip it out and paint it to car color.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take it. I was watching videos last night on how to remove the soft touch. You gotta you spray some stuff on it, let it sit, and
I do wonder if a local upholstery shop could cover that in leather at a reasonable, or Alcantara. Right. They could less than $2,200.
So rate. I'll plug them, but there's a company online called Classic 9 Leather, and they make kits for these. And so you can either order the kit and bring it in, and then just take it to a local upholstery shop. It's already got the stitching and everything. They do it just like OEM.
I think they do BMW stuff too as well.
They do, yeah. Or you can just take the pieces out, ship them the pieces, and it's like $500, and they'll actually install it at their shop and send it back to you. But I don't know. There's options out there for me. I
try painting it, because I did it on Savannah's BMW E46. Mm-hmm. It's not hard. Just make sure you take your time. Wet sand, that soft touch, because as James knows, BMW is notorious for their soft touch going bad, and get it all off. And and look at it this way: if it doesn't look good, then you can always wrap it.
Yeah, that's true.
Use paint liner.
Well,
use the liner, paint it. It'll have the nice texture on there.
Yeah, I've pretty much decided.
Bed
I think
liner. That's it. Sorry, bed liner.
I'm fairly decent at painting. I think I am going to paint it. I haven't decided if I want to go back. They actually have like plastic paints that emulate the original. It's not soft touch, but so
Worth
the
makes
texture
it.
black.
It's,
Yeah.
What, flacking?
Kind of like
No,
that.
they
It's
call
not
it-
the same. Well,
it's
the
not
flacking
flocking,
is the
but,
old school. That was where you had the
Powder.
powder stuff, flocking. But they do make black that looks like it, so you can go that route. Or I thought about just ordering the slate gray metallic of my car, because that was a factory option, was to have it painted the body color.
Mhm.
So I decided if I'm going to do that or black,
Cool.
but I probably will paint it. Maybe after Amelia, I'll get it all torn out.
Awesome.
But all right, guys. Well, that's all I got.
All right.
Thanks for listening, everybody. WhiskeyWatchesWheels.com. Hit us up, YouTube, like and subscribe, and we will catch you guys later. Peace out. Bye.
Bye-bye.